The next question is from Just Croft from TombRaiderFourms.com, who asks, what are the most frequent problems when recording environment sounds?
Airplanes. Far and away airplanes. Because you'll be recording something, like I was recording footsteps, so I was like sloshing around in mud, just running around and jumping around and stuff, and then there's this airplane, you know, and I was like, I have to stop and wait for the airplane to go by, and then start again.
The most frequent problem of recording an environment sound is trying to find the environment, because like Karl said, it's like everywhere there's airplanes and everywhere there's traffic, and the way traffic sounds here is in California sounds very, very different to how it does in the UK or wherever, you know, the sirens and things that go off. Yeah, and typically you don't even want that in your recording anyway. But if your goal is to record traffic or sirens or, you know, traffic with sirens, then you have to make sure that you record it in the correct location. So, however, that's really the hardest thing, is just finding the right location.
And so moving on to some questions about Keeley and Lara. Tomb Dude has recorded a question, and here it is.
Hey, first question. When you were writing a script for Lara Croft and the Guardian of Light, and then recording it, did you want the script to be more serious, similar to the Underworld script, or for this game were you completely intending for it to be a light-hearted game?
And Daniel Sun from the Eidos Fourms and Ants27 and Love to Raid from Tomb Raider Fourms all ask a similar question.
I think the main thing was just really to have a story that seemed like was a chapter of Lara's life. That was something that, you know, was an element that was an adventure that she had gone on at some point. The timing wasn't really too important, and but I think definitely it was to keep it fairly light.
So as like Daniel Sun asks, Keeley's voice is slightly more energetic in some of the trailers. I mean, that's maybe partly to do with some of the cutscenes they've seen. But was that like part of the direction that was given, or was it just kind of her reacting to the scripts? Or
I think with the cinematics that people have seen so far, those are definitely some of the more energetic cinematics. But that was really, I think, the direction we wanted to take it, is something that's not as serious, and something that you could just get into right away. So you didn't really need to have any prior knowledge of the story, and that you could just kind of it basically was self-contained and explained itself, and that was really interesting, actually, for me. I you know, I haven't worked with Keeley before, but it was funny hearing her voice for the first time, because I was something like, oh, that's Lara. That's Lara Croft.
What was Keeley like to work with? Like, as a person, was she...
Keeley was... Well,
charming?
Yeah, so Keeley was... she was great. The only direction that I gave her was, at the very, very beginning, was just that this is a typical Lara Croft adventure. Mm-hmm. And I didn't want to distract her with anything, because I'd never worked with her before, but I knew that she knew the character, and I knew that she knew it better than I did. So I didn't want to distract her with anything, and I just wanted her to you know, be Lara Croft.
And Chris99 from Eidos Fourms has a question, and here it is.
Right, hi. Thanks again for the podcast. And here's my question. What's Keeley's attitude towards Lara Croft? Is she interested in her personality to make the voice acting more effective? Thank you very much for the answers.
I mean, Keeley is very professional, and she's not really. I don't think she's very protective of the character, not in a negative way. But if we were pushing her, sometimes we would push her to be a little more over the top than she had been in the past, and she was very comfortable in doing that. And a lot of the times when we did that, I think we didn't really know what to expect when we said, okay, we would do one take of a line and we would say, okay, that's great, but this time you can go like just go crazy and just go like way over the top, and usually we would build up to that,
Mm-hmm.
And when she did it in a way that was, I wasn't exactly sure what to expect, but she did it in a way that was very respectful to the character. So it wasn't as though it was like suddenly became hysterical. It was done in a way that was very, that was still Lara and very real.
Okay, and Poke Warrior from TombRaiderFourms.com wants to know how many lines Keely's recorded for Lara Croft and how many have been used in the game. Do you know that off the top of your head? Could you have a guess?
5,000?
Between 5 and 5,000. It's definitely not as much as the previous games.
Tony Robinson from TombRaiderFourms.com has recorded a question in the fashion of Zolet.
Zolotl.
In terms of how Lara Croft should sound, was there any other actresses ever considered to be the voice of Lara Croft besides Keely?
And for those of you who haven't been to Northern Ireland, that question reads, in terms of how Lara Croft should sound, was there any other actresses ever considered to be the voice of Lara besides Keely? Thanks for the question, Tony.
I mean, Keely is just is Lara, and I think particularly for what we were going for, an episode of her life, and you have to have her. I think that I mean, someone somewhere may have thought, I wonder what someone else would sound like, but I don't think anyone really pursued that.
I remember hearing Forrest doing the placeholder voice acting for Lara, and there were actually people in Wimbledon in head office who were like, why have they made her American? Because Forrest was so good at it, which was quite
Before that, it was Alex.
Yeah, before that it was me.
So we're going to see if we can dig some of that up.
Yeah, and I played Totek and Solo.
We should release that as like a downloadable, so you can get all the...
I think only Karl and I would find that amusing.
Okay, Nightwish from Tomb Raider Forums has recorded the next question.
Has Keely refused to do something or say something for the role?
That's a good question.
I do know what you're saying about her voice.
Yeah.
She has a really...
We're not... Yeah, but...
voice. We can't talk about it?
Well, we can't embarrass her. I embarrassed her for the last podcast, but I said goodbye to calling her cute. Anyway...
Well, it's good that I don't know if she's interested in voice acting, which is even card agent. So no, I don't think so. We didn't ask her to say anything that was
untoward.
Mm. Yes, or controversial. I think that a lot of it was typical Tomb Raider stuff. So, and I don't think she's the type of person that would refuse to say anything either. Like I said before, I think she's committed to Lara, but I think she trusts us to not to do something that would ruin the character. And I think that she understands too that the process is that typically you never really understand or know exactly what a line is going to sound like until you actually hear it
in context
and from the particular actors. So when Karl or I do the voice of Lara, we get one idea of what it might sound like, but until you actually have Lara saying the line, then I think that suddenly informs what you should be doing.
Okay.